Hello. It's Tuesday, which means it's not Monday, and so we're coming at you Tuesday. It's hi from me, Warren in Bremen.
Hi from Bridget in San Antonio, Texas.
Hey, and we are going to be talking today about nonprofits again because that's our thing. And specifically, we were thinking about social media and how nonprofits use social media correctly or perhaps incorrectly, or yeah, I don't know. Some of my clients use it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure some of yours too, Bridget. Um, where are our clients at with social media? How are nonprofits using it these days?
Well, I feel like a lot of nonprofits misuse social media.
Okay.
Um, Either they'll double down on a platform that isn't meant for driving traffic to a website, Instagram, or
Mm,
or they'll think that social media is only for fundraising. Now, I understand that nonprofits value fundraising just like small businesses value selling their products. But either way, you don't want to only be tweeting or posting about your thing that you want to buy. You want people to buy. Buy my thing, 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 right?
okay.
Um, and then you don't want to be like me who forgets to tell people, oh, yeah, I have some books for sale,
Yeah.
right? And then you don't want to be that person who's donate, 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 donate. And you don't want to be the person that doesn't tell your your interested donor base that you can donate to them by looking for a better way ink on Amazon Smile.
Okay.
So I find that it's lopsided.
Mm, mm. Yeah. I probably not just nonprofits. I mean, we've said this enough. You said it first. Social media is it's a relationship. It's a dialogue. Um, you see this with either small companies, freelancers, influencers, big companies, whatever it is. It seems to either be about you know, hey, buy this, or let's talk about me. Um, and especially for nonprofits, because it's about constituents, it's about members, it's about community and volunteers, and on both sides of the equation, either people who are giving money or people who are receiving money. So there's a lot of stories. So I think nonprofits should probably really be understanding more of this dialogue and relationship equation. Um, that might be a good starting point. Let's talk about what we're doing here, who it's affecting, how can you help, and then what's the end story? Like what's the win on this? I think, though. I mean, you're the experts.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely,
Yeah. All right.
absolutely. Like I want to know if I'm donating, I want to know what's happening with that $40,
Yeah. Okay. Hmm.
right? So we mentioned this on the last video.
Yes.
Nonprofits have three audiences, three types of customers: the donors, the volunteers, and the people it helps. Okay? Or animals or whatever, okay? The actual recipients of the cause donations. So we also, for donors, they want to feel like they are donating money to something that is worthy,
Hmm.
um, that they're doing something, right? I just had a conversation with somebody who um, stopped volunteering for a nonprofit, and a lot of times board positions are volunteer based.
Yeah.
But because and of the salary of the CEO of the nonprofit. right? They felt like the donations were all going that way, right? So you have the internal company culture and then how that's communicated to the world.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to get volunteers, you really want to show that there is a camaraderie, a fellowship, a friendship of like this alignment of everyone thinking the same and having the same passion for this cause, right?
Yeah.
And so you show that on social media. On Instagram, you take pictures of people, putting toiletries in a bag to give to the homeless. You write about your volunteer day on your blog. You send that out on Twitter. You create Facebook events on your Facebook page, right? Where you are training your volunteers and people are interested, orientations and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Because it feels good to do things with other people that make an impact.
Okay.
So
All right.
I don't see a whole lot of nonprofits, and certainly not my clients, um, emphasizing or marketing to, because it is marketing to a volunteer base, keeping them, retaining them, mentoring them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see this either. I see, mostly, the nonprofits using social media to advertise events. It seems to be like an event calendar for most of them. And what I'm really missing, which I think is probably more important for nonprofits than small businesses or schools, um, is the storytelling. You know, getting at the heart of the culture, getting at the values that this organization has, um, and developing those stories, and then getting people interested in that. I think that's really sort of missing, and you can't just do that with a post. You really need something a little more. Maybe you need two or posts or three posts. You need
Yeah,
not. I mean, yes, you can tell a story in 6 words or with one photograph, but it's probably nicer if you've maybe got a series of something happening,
right.
that people can then grab to. Because I mean, sure, we're on social media 24/7, but most normal people aren't. So they might miss our one post, which was our big story. They might never see it.
Right.
So it's probably a good idea to pepper the social media with the stories.
Right. And the
Yeah,
event needs that marketing for that event needs to happen all year round.
yeah,
This is something that we've talked about in the WordCamp space a lot
mhm,
because the WordPress Foundation is, well, it used to be a nonprofit, but the WordCamp Central is a B corporation or something.
mm,
But like it runs that same way where you have this event. And it used to be, and they've changed it now, but it used to be that there was a subdomain for every year. So it'd be like 2017.wcoc.wordcamp.org, right? Instead, so that you're making a new website every single year. So there's no ability to have this continuous storytelling.
mm,
And nonprofits do that a lot where they have like an Eventbrite thing instead of a landing page on their own
yeah,
website. Okay. And that's fine to use Eventbrite because they have the ticketing if you don't want to use the events calendar plugin or something on your WordPress site, right? But you still need to have a landing page on your own website. And not just that you're having a fun run. What the hell is a fun run for?
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like I just like so many times, Warren, I look at the internet, I look at people's marketing campaigns, and I say to myself, but why? What does this have anything to do with your? So you're doing a 5K, you're doing the turkey trot, but why? What is this? What, why are you doing this?
yeah,
Right? And then when you have event sponsors, and we do this a lot in WordCamps, we're like, thanks for sponsoring, thanks for sponsoring, thanks for sponsoring. And we're seeing those posts come through, and we're not sure why the event is even happening. Where is the event? Um, where are the funds going? Like, here's an example. Yesterday, I bought a ticket, spent $28 to have a seat for the Texas Cavaliers River Parade. This is a big deal for Fiesta. Fiesta is this 10, 11-day long celebration that's fundraising for about 100 nonprofits. Okay.
Okay.
That's great. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm here. I have nothing to do on a Monday. I walked down there, got my walking in, right? So it was, basically 5K come back and forth. But I'm sitting there and I don't know how to get to my seat. There's no usher, right? I had to ask a policeman who said, oh, yeah, it's going to have a sticker on the side and it'll say this, this, this. It didn't match the exact language on the ticket that I had from eTix or whatever version of Eventbrite they used. There was no like, and then like the seating was super close together and super close behind me. It didn't start on time. I could not find a list of not only how many damn floats are going down this parade, but what's the last one? What's the first and the last? So how do I know when this thing is over?
Yeah.
Because it's going for a couple hours. But finally I was just like, I'm out of here, right? That was not a good experience for somebody who didn't already know what the river parade was.
Mhm.
And that's another thing that we forget about when we're running these events. It always happens with word camps. People say, what's a word camp? So you're having like people understand what a 5K is, but what is this river parade? Why do I want to go to it? What's the beginning? What is it fundraising for? What are all the signs mean? Oh, people are sponsoring this, but why are they sponsoring it? Where's the money going?
Yeah.
Right? Like to me, that messaging is not clear on social media. And it's nothing against the Texas Cavaliers. I know that they support children's charities,
Mhm.
like they kind of support a bunch of different children's charities, but at the same time, like I'm kind of wondering why I spent $28. I don't know what this is for, and
Yeah.
I don't know where to be,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean? So that could have been seamless on social. Like, could you imagine? This is a great opportunity for Instagram, right? You could take your volunteer, right? Could have shown you, oh, like this is section 1B. And when you come and find your seat, you're going to see this tag and it's going to look like this. We're going to have 25 floats this year. Like those could have all been different posts, Facebook in the Facebook event, Instagram, on your website. Like here are the lists of
Yeah.
the floats. This is what's going on. Here are the lists of the charities. Follow them on social media. Like that landing page for just the floats, which I could not find, could have had me finding and supporting those organizations.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I think this is a common problem. We're always designing things that we understand, but we really forget why we're building them. And then people land on our website or pick up our flyer, and it's just like, okay, now I need to learn this information. And well, if it's a website, people are going to leave. So so if I'm a nonprofit, and I mean, let's talk small. I mean, Oxfam or UNICEF or whatever. Okay, these are a lot larger than your average nonprofit. But if we've got a local nonprofit, or maybe like a statewide, regional nonprofit, they've got their storytelling down, they've got their website down pat. Um, you know, what would your advice be for social media? Is it any different than the ones we expect? Um, you know, Facebook for community building, Instagram for the images, YouTube for your videos, or in your experience or what you've seen, maybe where you would say, wow, that nonprofit is really using social media well? Do you have any advice? What would you suggest for that? Um,
Well, I honestly don't see very many nonprofits doing social media well.
okay.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
the thing that most people, nonprofits and small businesses, do not do well
Hmm.
is interacting with other accounts.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
That is a huge way to gain visibility. So they'll post something on their own account and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
It's very self centered. And if you're lucky, somebody who's managing the social media will also reply to the people who've replied
Hmm.
and clean up spam comments on Instagram like, oh, we want to collab with you. That's spam.
Yeah.
Um, so, like commenting on other Facebook pages as your page, commenting on other Instagram posts as your Instagram account, especially the people that are in your local community,
Hmm. Yeah.
especially your sponsors, right? Because that's another way for other people to see you, especially on Facebook. I mean, YouTube, yeah, respond to people's comments. But like when you're talking about nonprofits, if it's LinkedIn and if it's LinkedIn, Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, respond to people's comments, number one.
Hmm. Okay.
But that's still only being self centered.
Hmm.
That the next is outreach. So if I am a charity here in San Antonio, I am going to want to connect with anybody who lives in San Antonio. I'm also going to want to connect with businesses in San Antonio. Why? Because they, from a pure business standpoint, might need a tax write off.
Yeah.
That's why people donate. We
Yeah.
forget about that. I mean, yes, it makes you feel good and all this other stuff, but it's also a tax write off. That partnering with a profit, with a for profit is so important.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like all those floats, they were like, this is the children's charity, and this is the sponsor. Like a bunch of them were a realtor or a general contractor, and that's tens of thousands of dollars, right? So,
Hmm.
like, you're gonna want people to know about you. And we also forget that other businesses have people like me behind them, right? So especially Twitter, like I feel like most people don't understand that Twitter is part of a healthy SEO strategy.
Hmm.
Individual tweets are indexed. So for example, one of my clients is the University Christian Ministries for the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee. And they do meal programs and mentorship and stuff like that. Um, they do free lunches and things like that and groceries and stuff for the
Hmm.
students. Well, I've trained them, but it's summer. So right now they're paying me to manage their Twitter and Facebook. And that's what we do. It's because it's for the people at that university. We are commenting and replying to and sharing, however it's appropriate, things that are going on with the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee, Panther Pride
Yeah.
and all that. Because that's the community that you're serving. So that's the community you need to be involved in. Yes, also greater Milwaukee. Yes, also Wisconsin. But we're really serving students of that specific university.
Yeah.
So that is where you need to build your community, right? So if you're helping foster children or children in transition, you want to partner with other organizations that do that, like CASA.org or, a mental health, counseling, rehab, that kind of place.
Yeah.
Tutors. I mean, maybe Mathnasium. In North America, we have a franchise called Mathnasium that tutors and tutor doctors and things like that. Maybe partner with those franchises near where you're serving these foster kids and get those tutoring gaps filled,
Hmm.
you know? But they're not going to know that you exist if you are super self-centered in your social media strategy. But if you interact to say, oh, yeah, learning math is super important. That's why we did it, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's a platform for another conversation like, whoa, we didn't know you did that. We donate, I don't know what Mathnasium does, but let's just say we donate 10% of our time to kids at risk.
Yeah. 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 I mean, this is a bit of what we talked about last week as well. Partnering with businesses,
But using
and
social media
yeah,
for them to be aware of you in the first
yeah,
place.
yeah, yeah. I, it's really, I don't think much different than any normal social media strategy. You've got to let people be aware of what you're doing. You have to, be open to them being involved, and you really have to be proactive. Um, yeah, maybe you're the wallflower that the prom king asks to dance, but that really only happens in movies. If people don't hear from you, then they're just not going to know you want to dance. So
I mean, you have to show up to the dance, of course. That's the first step.
you got to
And
order the
like,
pizza. It's not going to be delivered to you without the order.
right. I mean, but at the same time, nonprofits can be amazingly passive,
Mm,
even though they're raising funds and helping people. I know that they get busy in the weeds of the actual work that they're doing.
yeah, yeah,
But having the business mindset is super important because, as we said last time, and in our book, the only online marketing book you need for your nonprofit is a
the
business, and you
business,
need to run
business.
it like a business,
Yeah,
which means you need to market it like a
yeah,
business. So if we told small businesses, Warren, to set aside 15% of their gross revenue for a marketing budget, then don't you think we should also tell nonprofits to spend 15% of their donations on marketing?
or we could say set aside 15% of your volunteers to be spokespeople. Get them on social media, get them out there with flyers. Especially if they don't want to spend the money, I can completely understand that. But you know, everyone has social media accounts, and it's the same. You see this in schools and in businesses. Your employees, your students, they are your voices, and yeah, I like that idea. It's a great
Yeah,
idea.
more
It's
than
good.
that, I mean, it is, but
Yeah.
also like that makes me think that what the next time we need to talk about is messaging. Because a lot of times
Yes.
nonprofits' websites and their messaging is blah, 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 blah. Doesn't that sound great? What the hell does that mean?
Yep.
Next on next
Next
on the Warren
on.
and Bridget show, what the hell are you talking about? Like seriously, just like, what does this even mean? Does your next door neighbor know what your nonprofit does?
All right. Well, on that tempting note, it's goodbye from me, and
And
we'll
goodbye me from me.
see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye, San Antonio.
Goodbye, Bremen. Auf Wiedersehen.